This video demonstrates the OpenShot video editor and how it is used to post-process video recordings for the online worship service. OpenShot is a free video editor with a rich set of features and an intuitive interface. Sunday service is recorded in segments. These segments and other video files are sequenced and rendered into a single video using OpenShot. The rendered video is subsequently made available to the congregation via Facebook and YouTube. In this video, we'll step through the process of creating the online service for September the 29th, 2020. Okay, first let's start up OpenShot. OpenShot has several sections in the user interface. One is for the video peer review, and the timeline is at the bottom. So to start a project, one of the first things we have to do is import our video assets, and we'll just grab all of these files. These are the files that was used to create the service for September the 27th. It was recorded on the 26th. Okay, one of the first thing that happens in the service when it plays online is the opening. The opening, um, and after the opening, there's a call of worship. Basically, the pastor welcomes everyone to the service. That's the call of worship. The opening is basically the welcome or the welcome song. Um, it's- okay, so one of the things that happens during this segment is um, the logo first comes up and the welcome song plays. The welcome song plays for several seconds, then it fades out. The initial screen is actually the logo with the word welcome, and the word welcome eventually fades out, and only the logo is playing or the displaying, and eventually the Nebo theme song or Nebo welcome song fades out, but the logo is still on the screen. And what we want to do at that point is start the call to worship. The call to worship typically starts with a song, um, and the song will be playing in the background, and the podium or the pastor lecture is displayed, and the podium is displayed, and the song call to worship song. It's basically is played for a few minutes, and then the pastor will approach the podium and begin the service. Let's see how we set that up. Okay, at this point, the time between the two songs, I wanted the logo to stay up a little longer, so that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm trying to let's find where the pastor appears on the screen, so we can kind of balance out the time that the logo is up and the time that the song is playing. Here I'm applying a filter at the end of so the basically the logo will fade out. This is the sound of the call of worship or the music fading in. So let's see what that sounds like. We're going to test it out. Oh, well, one of the things we need to do here, the opening video actually has a fade in it. I want to not show that. So let's try it. And we can layer the image on top of that, and that'll prevent it from showing the fade because it's basically overlapping the video at that point. This creates the illusion that multiple things are happening or at the same time. So it kind of seamlessly moves us from one segment of the service to the next. Um, the audio is actually being piped in at this particular instance through the soundboard. This is a recording from previously recorded Youth Day. So it's all baked into the Call of Worship MP3, MP4 file. Now you should soon see the pastor walks in and approaches the microphone. And at that point, the sound guy will turn down the sound so he can begin to
Good
speak.
morning and welcome to Mount Nebo Baptist Church. We are so very, very grateful that each of you has tuned in with us today. Our God is a good God and
So at this point, what we did was we had a previously recorded welcome with our Nebo theme song in the background playing with a couple of images to open up the service, which is something that we do for every service. Then we have the call of worship where the pastor opened up the service with what I consider a call to worship, and we kind of bridge those things together with an image file of the logo of the church, and it creates a seamless and a nice effect that everything is kind of connected together. So let's see. Next, the next order, what we would do at the end of this clip, we would basically always try to fade out at every clip, fade out slowly, and we will try to fade out also the volume. It creates a nice effect when you fade out the volume slowly at the same rate. And after the call of worship, let's see what this sounds like. And at this point, we typically starts our devotion. This Sunday was a little different. We had some of our youth to send a video in. Since we're currently not, we don't allow the youth into the church due to the pandemic. So what I'm doing here is we're gonna fade in, try to fade in. Let's try to fade in the next video, and we're gonna try to fade in the audio from that video.
Good morning, Mount Nebo.
Sometimes the slow fade doesn't work because enough space isn't given by the recorder to um, slow fade, so we'll try something different. Here, we'll kind of space it out. Let's see. Let's do a fast fade. Make sure there's not a lot of space in between the two clips.
My Good morning, Mount Nebo.
Another thing we want to do here is we want to put a banner at the bottom of the screen, or a lower third is what they typically call them. That'll provide some context of We also want to fade that in at the same rate, and it provides the context of who's on the screen. Um, some of the clips using another piece of software when we record, we actually include the lower thirds. But since this one was recorded at home, it did not have it, so we will add the youth ministry lower third at the bottom. And also, typically we don't identify any of our youth when we prepare video or audio or even image for our Facebook page. So that's why there's a generic youth ministry. Um, if a parent decide that they want to um, have the kids to say their name, that's the parent is it's up to the parent. But from a policy of the church, we try to not to identify children in any of the social media uh, products or you know that we produce. Here I am fading out the volume of the
And many other blessings in your son Jesus' name.
devotion.
Amen.
So basically, this is our devotion. We're going to try to fade out the volume to see how that affects. Okay, that sounds pretty nice. Let's next after the devotion, we typically have a song. So the ministry leaders here, the youth ministry leaders, came in. They did two songs for us this day, and they told us which song they wanted to go first. So that was easy for us. We didn't have to select, and we'll basically fade in slowly into the song, and then we'll go back to the we'll fade in the volume. Sometimes there's a hum at the beginning of a recording or segment, so we'll try to dampen that by fading in the volume also. So we'll always go back to the previous segment and see the fade out and then see the fade in to see how it. Okay. Okay, and at the end of the clip, we'll do the same. We'll try to fade out the clip, the video, and fade out the audio at the same rate. And do it slow. I typically use the slow fade because it gives a nice dramatic effect. Okay. So in this segment, one of the things we've been doing is allowing ministry leaders or individuals to come in to give an encouraging word. Like today was that day was Youth Day, so we had one of the leaders to come in and give an encouraging word. So this is the same thing. We will fade in slowly, and we'll fade in the volume slowly, and we always go back and test it two segments back to back to see um, what the fade or transition looks like. Okay, the same thing at the end of the clip. There are some cases where we have to. There's a feature where we can cut the clip if there's an extra few seconds in the beginning or the end. We can actually cut the clip or shorten the clip, or if we can have to divide the clip in two and trim something in between, we could do that with this software, but it's not a part of this demonstration. All right, let's see. Next, there's a second song. Actually, we're not going to do the second song here. We typically do the after the first song, we will do the announcements. The announcements is something that the pastor records. Um, we don't have a separate audio recording. We thought it was easier just to record the video. And with this software, what we would do is we record the audio and we can layer um, elements. So if you we can layer the images on top of the video. And one of the things we do is let's see, can I find this? We will layer a full screen black image on top of the video because the images that we have uh, for the announcements are not full screen. Um, they are uh, don't cover the entire screen basically. So if you don't do that, it'll shine through and you can see the video under it. So what I'll have to do here, what I'm doing here is layering a video, a black full screen on top of the video so you can't see
Now
the
for our
pastor. So it
announcements.
seems like
On
that
the
it's just
third Sunday in
a audio file, but it's not. It's actually a video. Okay, let's remove the clip and see what it looks like without any decoration or something layered on top of
October.
it.
Now for our announcements.
Okay, now let's put our full screen black on top of it. So what you see on the screen is actually a black image on top of a video. Um, Therefore, it gives the illusion of just an audio clipping, but is actually a video underneath. And on top of this black, we will layer our images that we want the audience to read. And the first thing that they should see is the Nebo logo with the word announcements underneath. And then it will go into a sequence of images or slides that typically is already available on our social media sites, Facebook, and we would just sequence through those, or as he introduced new announcements, we'll just swap out and change the image. Let's see how that. In this situation, we only have one image. Other situation, we'll have multiple announcements, but we'll show you how we set it up with one image. Okay, let's finish this. We'll start with the announcement logo. Okay, we'll size it, and we can. I was gonna run it. Let's run it the whole way. Now let's. Um, Wait a minute.
On the third Sunday in October, that is October the 18th, we are celebrating yet another Family and Friends Day.
So typically, I will figure out where he introduced the family and or the first date, the date or the title of the announcement, and that's when I will switch the image out. And as you can see, below and above the family and friends image is black borders and not the um, video itself, because the family and friends slide or announcement is not full screen.
Now for our announcement.
Okay. Let's 1 second. Let's see what's going on.
Now for our announcements. On the third Sunday in October, that is October the 18th, we are celebrating yet another Family and Friends Day. We will highlight, spotlight, and hear from several of our family and friends, many who happen to reside out of state. We are so thankful for all of our family and friends. We thank God for each and every one of you. And on that special day, we plan to book or via the church's website. This concludes our announcements.
Okay. At this point, we will make sure everything is lined up. Um, I'll typically pull the black out a little further because after the announcements, we will fade into something else. And since the
Or
pastor is not on
via
the
the
screen,
church's website. This concludes our announcements.
let's see. At this point, we will bring in song two. And like I said, in this at this recording, the um, choir knew exactly which song they wanted to go and what spot, so that helped out a lot. We didn't have to kind of guess or um, try to figure out which song go in which spot. It's always helpful to have that information. And the sequence of things uh, is typically done by the um, program guide or either the pastor or if it's a special occasion, whoever is over that occasion will dictate which segment goes first. We have a generic blueprint, of course, for the standard service, but it's pretty much the who's ever the is over that particular program will dictate the order of the service. At this point, what I'm doing is I'm gonna fade in slow with the song two. We're gonna come from a dark black to a fade in, and it's gonna start the song. Okay, what is going on? All right, let's try this again.
Our announcements.
Okay, here I'm going to, at the end of the clip, let's see, at the end of the clip, I'm gonna fade out slow and also fade the volume out slow to give that nice effect. And after song two, um, we will do the sermon. Let's see, where's the sermon? We'll drop the sermon in next to that on track one. We'll start with a slow fade in. Let's needle here so we can preview the transition. The most important thing is the transitions between the clip, making sure they're nice and smooth, making sure there's no thumps in the
Let us
audio,
pray. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed.
and making sure that the service flow um,
And it
nice and
won't let
smooth.
me be ashamed to tell the world I've been born. I'm learning. I'm learning to lean.
During the sermon, there are also lower thirds that and also other overlays that shows up during the process of the service. That is handled by a different piece of software at this point. We do that in real time because it cuts down on the time of post processing the video. So that will be we can cover that in a different demonstration or a different video. Now, at this point, at the end of the service, we're going to end with the closing. The closing is a sequence of slides that we show to
Remember
the
this,
congregation.
God is love.
Here, I'm going to set up like a dramatic fade, and we're going to go into the Mount Nebo logo, and then we will put on the contribution screen, and then the copyright screen.
Love.
So you want to make sure that that fade begins at the right time. So we're going to do a slow fade. Um, no, let's see. Let me correct that. It's supposed to be a slow fade in, not a slow fade out. Remove the fades. All right. So now let's try this again. A slow fade in to the new video. At the start, slow fade. All right. Let's see what this looks like. All right. Now the contribution screen is already built into my video, a closing video, and at the end we will show a copyright for all of the music that's was played during the service. At this point, everything is sequenced. I typically go back and double check the order of service, double check the transition between scenes, making sure the sound quality and there's no abrupt thumping of the sound in the beginning of any clips. And I can remedy that by using the volume fade in or making sure the volume fade outs are there. And this is basically what the servers look like sequence. We can play the first few segments. Okay, so everything is sequenced. I will typically I will go through every segment to make sure. At this point, I will save the project and give it a name. I'll use Sunday tutorial in this instance. Yeah, I can overwrite that. And at this point, I'll click the record button to export the file. The file is exported as an MPEG 4, 720p, 30 frames per second. Those settings allow us to export it at a small enough file at HD quality and upload it to Facebook to be delivered down to devices over a mobile network with ease. So that's basically it. At this point, it takes some time to render, and we will typically after it is finished rendering, we'll upload it to Facebook and YouTube individually. Set the premiere, and it should at that point play on Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock. That's it. That's all I have for this one. Thanks.